Fatigue failure. When the components are subjected to repeated or fluctuating load, they fail at much lower stress than they can withstand under the application of single static load. Such mode of failure is referred to as fatigue failure. I can say 90% of mechanical failure is due to fatigue failure. Okay, and it is more prominent in the mechanical components like IC engine. I have shown you the image of IC engine. You can see here, and here is the connecting rod. Actually, this connecting rod is undergoing simultaneously the push and pull at the same time. Okay, so because of this, what happens, this will be tends to fatigue failure, right? The same like this crank, the crank as well, the shaft undergoing the fatigue failure. And more for your information, I can say aircraft wings, compressor and pump as well going the fatigue failure, right? And next, fatigue test. So fatigue test, in the sense, I can say it is to determine the capacity of material to withstand repeated or fluctuating load is known as a fatigue test. Okay, this fatigue test is conducted in the material in order to identify the ability of material to withstand the repeated or fluctuating load, right? And next, I have shown you the diagram of experimental setup of fatigue test. You can see in the mid of this arrangement have the test piece. Okay, so it is been designed in the standard shape, and this test piece is having rotary motion. This rotary motion is provided from the motor. Actually, this rotary motion from the motor is directed by the shaft through the flexible coupling and bearing. We move to the left side. Here as well we can see the same arrangement, but here you can see the revolution counter at the right end. Okay, here you can see the revolution counter. Actually, this revolution counter says us how many revolution is made by this test piece. Okay, how many revolution is made by the test piece, that can be recorded by this revolution counter. Okay, and in the middle below the test piece we can see the load, right? The load will be added to the test piece based upon the requirements, and then during the test they will be ready with number of test piece with the same material. Okay, and they will be fixing it here, and they will apply maximum load that can be accepted by this test piece. And before the start of the experiment they will be maintaining constant speed in the shaft. Okay, once the motor is switched on, I can say the rotary motion will be conveyed to the test piece, and because of this rotary motion and the load applied here, what happens, this test piece will experience tensile as well the compressive load simultaneously. Because of that it fails. Okay, it break into pieces. So at that time, with the help of this revolution counter they will be noting down the number of revolution taken to break for this particular load, and again they will be conducting the same experiment by decreasing the load when compared to the last one with the next test piece. Okay, and again they will be looking for the breaking of the test piece, and they will be noting down the revolution taken by the test piece to break, right? So same manner they will be taking this set of experiment. From the set of experiment, the SN graph being plotted. Okay, and SN, in the sense, S stands for stress level, and N stands for number of cycle, stress and number of cycle graph, right? So here I have shown you the standard graph for the material of aluminum alloy and 0.45% of carbon steel. Okay, let me try to give the information which is provided by this SN graph. First, let me concentrate on this 0.45% of carbon steel, that is a mild steel. Okay, let me concentrate on that. I can say this material can operate at a high stress for less number of cycle. At high stress what, for less number of cycle. And just look at this curve with while decreasing this stress, this what number of cycle is mean increasing. You can see evidently from this curve, you can see evidently from this curve, when decreasing the stress, this number of cycle is being increasing, right? And here you can see the fatigue limit, I can say, when it reaches the particular state of stress, what happening, this number of cycles keep on going as an infinity, right? So again I can say from this fatigue limit, we can also say below this particular state of stress, we can work at any number of cycle. Okay, there won't be a limitation below the stress. Below the stress level, we can operate this material at any number of cycle. Okay, that's a thing which we can get from this graph. And afterwards we can move to the aluminum alloy. It can operate at high temperature with less number of cycle, and look at this curve, it's keep on decreasing, am I right? So I can say it operate less amount of stress for more number of cycle. Okay, so when this stress is decreased, when the stress level is decreased, it can operate for more number of cycle, it can operate for more number of cycle. And here there is no fatigue limit like the mild steel, that means 0.45 percentage of carbon steel. We don't have any fatigue limit in the aluminum alloy. Next we can see how to increase the fatigue life. Okay, by the help of good design, surface finishing, carburizing and nitriding, and fine grain size also, we can increase the fatigue life. Okay, and good design, that means while manufacturing any of the object, we must avoid forming a sharp corners. Okay, because this sharp corners can increase the stress concentration. Okay, because of this it may leads to fatigue failure, right? And next one is a surface finishing. Okay, when we are manufacturing, we have to provide good surface finishing. That means we have to make smoothen the surface, we have to polish this surface very well, so that we can remove the surface irregularities that initiate cracks. Okay, and as well this carburizing and nitriding heat treatment can be introduced in the material, so that we can reduce the crack as well the corrosion, right? And next last one is a fine grain size. It also helps us to improve the fatigue life, because fine grain size avoids the dislocation of the material and the atomic level. Am I right? Already we studied. So this fine grain size will avoid the dislocation. So consequently, the fatigue life will be increased. Okay. So these are the what I can say. These are the four methods we have to increase the fatigue life. Thank you.